Joining us on the podcast once again today is a returning champion to this show. Of course, a man you will all know best as one of the legends in our sport. You name the event, he has been a part of it over the last few decades, and certainly an event he now runs, one we all can celebrate here in the United States, the USTA, Billie Jean King Girls 16s and 18s National Championships, which of course brings together the top juniors in the country, all to one location for an opportunity to perhaps play at the U.S. Open. Welcome back onto the podcast, our dear friend Lornie Kuhle. Lornie, it is good to see your smiling face here today. Welcome back to the show. How are you doing with the girls 18s now? What, about 2 weeks away?
Well, what's today? I have no idea. So today's Friday. So yeah, 2 weeks from today will be our registration.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be another fun event, and of course, our Cracked Rackets team is beyond flattered to be able to play any sort of role in it. We are very excited to be able to broadcast so much of the action, but let's not bury the lead. Again, this is an event that is over 100 years old, and certainly it is an event that our listeners will be familiar with. But for those who don't know the history of the event, who don't know the time and care you guys put into building on this event each and every season, can you talk to our listeners about what makes this particular girls 16s, 18s national championship special?
Well, I guess the number one thing about this whole thing is this really is part of the U.S. Open. Okay, the winner gets a wild card into the U.S. Open, so it's worth a lot of money, a lot of status, and everything else, and points for these girls. Like last year, the girl that won it, Eva Jovic, 16 years old. Where is she now? She's 89 in the world, passing rounds in the Grand Slam. So basically, almost every single woman on the WTA tour has played or won this tournament. How about Coco Gauff, for example? We all know who that is, right? She played it 3 or 4 years ago. And the list goes on and on. The past champions are Chris Evert, Lindsay Davenport. And, this year at Wimbledon, all the 8-seeded American women at Wimbledon were either champions or played this event. I got, for example, I'm looking at this for a second, Pegula, Madison Keys, Emma Navarro. How about this one? Anisimova. She gets to the final. She played the tournament. Sophia Kenin, Ashley Kruger. And so, it's the stepping stone to becoming a top player. So, and generally everybody that plays this thing, wins it at least, they're right out there in the WTA tour right away. So that's what makes it special. So all the tournaments in the country are important because you got to play them just to get in this thing. So anyway, so we have a good site. We're in San Diego. We got good weather. We never have to worry about rain or any factors like that. And everybody enjoys it. They enjoy coming here, even if they lose it. So they're in a great place. So they enjoy the trip. But just talking about tennis, what I was thinking about? Let me just ramble, or do you want to ask me questions?
No, please. I enjoy hearing all of your thoughts, my friend. So please, what do you got for me? Thinking about the tennis itself and just this event, right. What comes to mind?
I'll play a game with you.
Okay.
No. The reason there's a point to this little game.
Okay.
Because I want you to name some past champions or top players. They don't have to have won a Grand Slam who have a sibling that is doing pretty well out there in tennis. Now, I'll start off, for example, Tracy Austin. She's got Brandon Holt. Now, see if you can name one.
Well, I would like to point out we had Brandon Holt on the show earlier today, but I will regale you with a story that involves this year's event as well. So you were kind enough to have us out there. I want to say it was the 23 event when Claire V. Gunaway, who at the time was the junior Wimbledon champion, ultimately goes on to win the girls 18 singles title as well. That was very fun. But that year, there was a girls' 16s final. And ultimately, it was a player by the name of Kristina Lutova who won the title that season. However, in the final, and every year I tell this story, she's going to get younger to the point where I'll be like, she was 6 years old playing the girls' 16s final. But at the time, there was a 14-year-old by the name of Julieta Pareja who was playing in the 16s final. And I will never forget walking away from that tournament. You were kind enough to have us thinking, this girl is as good as humanly possible as someone could be at 14 years old. And whether it's her or, again, you can go through the list. Like, you're right. There are I'm going through the years when it was CeCe Bellis in 2014 and like that era of players. And just every year, Lindsay Davenport, who you mentioned is a past champion, obviously her son Jagger Leach is getting ready to go to Stanford. And
There
he
you go.
had
So
some
you just named
success
one. There
at
you
Junior
named one right
Wimbledon.
there. You got a point. You named one. I'm still playing the game. I'll name another one for you. How
Okay.
about Peter Korda, whose son is Sebastian Korda? So I'm leading into something about the tournament.
Okay.
Because I can't say it that this person's going to get in the tournament, but we have a very famous player in the past, a champion, who has a sibling, who I'm keeping my fingers crossed, will get a wild card into this tournament. And it's going to be very surprising if it happens.
I like that. Are the Federer twin daughters already there? Like, are we
No,
already at the Federer part? Is that what I'm missing here?
no, that's not it. I don't think you'll get it unless you're
I'll,
right in touch with these really young kids, which I'm not. I wasn't even either till this was pointed out to me. And
no,
anyway, I
again,
can't tell you. I can't tell you who it's going to be. But I was playing that game to give you an example. Like Fred Stolle had a son that was very good, and what's her name? Hana Mandakova won U.S. Open. Her daughter's out there on the tour, and so we have another past champion who's going to have, and obviously it's a girl because this is the girls' nationals, who's going to hopefully get in the tournament. And I'll bet you $1 she gets in. So anyway, it's going to be very interesting.
I love to hear that. And yeah, again, there are a lot of national championships by name on the USTA junior calendar. But as we have alluded to, this is the national championship. And I know something that has always brought you pride, and certainly I know for every junior competing in it, is the name associated with it. Billie Jean King National Championships. Now, obviously, you have a long-time relationship with Billie Jean King, one of the, if not the legend of our sport. To have her associated with this event, what does it mean to you, and how does it add to the prestige for everyone who participates within it?
Well, first of all, Billie Jean, to me, is the most iconic, well-known woman in the Western Hemisphere, And I mean, maybe there's only one other name that you could throw out there. Hillary Clinton. I don't know who name another
Serena.
Woman. Well, yeah, but Billie Jean's bigger than Serena in name because she's older, been around longer, and the stadium is named after her. The whole complex is named after her at the U.S. Open. So yeah, Serena obviously was great, but anyhow, to have her come, and she's coming again this year. She told me she's passionate about two things. One is the Billie Jean King Cup, and the other is the USTA Billie Jean King Girls National Championships. And, of course, she's Southern Cal anyway, Billie Jean. So, yeah, it's a big deal to have her come. It really adds to the prestige and the excitement and the atmosphere of the whole tournament. It's pretty nice to have her there. And also, Ilana Kloss is coming, and she's a former champion, and she'll be here. She, won the U.S. Open doubles, and I think she won Junior Wimbledon too. And Rosie Casals is coming, and she's another Hall of Famer who helps the tournament every year, and she's fantastic. And Katrina Adams, past president of USTA, is coming. So we have a gathering of a lot of very nice people, and plus the players. So there you go.
No, and of course, every college coach who is worth their salt will be there as well. Head coaches, assistants. It is a breeding ground for all things tennis. It's the nexus of all levels of the sport coming together to celebrate a moment like this. And you mentioned it. You guys are out in beautiful San Diego, in particular, the Barnes Tennis Center. To have a partner like them, I believe the event's been there every season since 2010. If my research is correct. What does it mean to have a partner like that for people who don't understand behind the scenes how difficult it can be to facilitate an event like this? Not just Barnes, by the way. I know you guys use University of San Diego as well. How valuable are those partners? What should people know about the Barnes Tennis Center that they don't already?
Well, the Barnes Tennis Center, since Ryan Redondo took the helm, has been resurrected. Or I don't know if it's resurrected. Well, it was kind of dead, to be honest with you. And Ryan Redondo has come in here. We've had every type of tournament possible. We've had ATP tournaments, WTA tournaments. We've had ITF junior tournaments. We got the girls' nationals. We've had everything. He's got so much stuff going on down there. I don't think there's another so-called racket center And I say racket because, of course, they got padel and pickleball there. I don't think there's another racket center in the country that has as much activity going on as the Barnes Tennis Center. You could almost call it a Wimbledon of the West. It's really, it's really unbelievable what Ryan has done down there. So anyway, that was your question. I think, how's it feel to be there? We're lucky we're there. There's no facility like this in Southern California, so we're lucky to be there.
The
And
best is you walk up and you just feel ensconced in all things tennis. And yeah, it's the perfect environment for a national championship event like this. And look, again, you have had the opportunity to watch this event, to see it continue to unfold, to see the level over the years. And you talked about it earlier. This is, for all intents and purposes, and not figuratively, literally, a U.S. Open qualifying event. The girls 18s champion, of course, going to get a main draw wild card. I believe the girls 18s finalists typically afforded a qualifying wild card as well.
you're right.
Is
And doubles too. Don't forget the doubles.
the doubles
Winner.
as well, of course. And by the way, like, you can keep going, third place, fourth place. You're going to get a shot at U.S. Open juniors, and so you are headed to New York down the field. I guess my question as it relates to this, not just to list the cool feats, but the level itself, like. Can you feel that it speaks to it with Ava Jovic being top 100, but do you feel that level present throughout those final stages, that pressure? Like, how does this make that event that much more appealing, that much more competitive?
Well, you're going to see people just trying their heart out, and I mean, it gets very intense. It's a final. It's a national championship. It's the wild card. It's everything. I mean, it's for we have 192 girls in each division coming. And so I can tell you that for 99% of them, this is the biggest tournament they'll ever play. This is the biggest tennis experience they'll ever play. They'll look back on it. They'll never forget it. When they're 40, 50, 60 years old, they will look back and remember they got into the nationals, into the national championships. So it's just, like I said, it's the biggest event they'll ever play. So most of them. And the other thing about it is another probably 98% of the girls playing, guess what they're all going to do? They're all going to go to college on a scholarship. I mean, that's worth a fortune these days. So anyway, like you said, we have 100 college coaches, showing up there to canvass the tournament and try to recruit. So it's a very big deal, and it's fun for me to be involved with it. I like it, and kind of keeps you in touch with the game, and that's fun. I like looking on TV and seeing, Emma Navarro there, and oh my God, I remember her playing the Easter Bowl, playing this tournament, or you see Coco Gauff out there, and it all starts here. I had a funny thing. You know what happened? I remember when Coco Gauff did play this tournament. I did some little local TV show or something, and she had to play Venus Williams in the first round, and I stuck my neck out. I said, I'm telling you right now, my 100% prediction on this is she's going to beat Venus Williams. I think, oh, no. Well, sure enough, she beat Venus Williams. That was kind of a breakthrough match for her, to jump her into the next league. And by the way, the motto of our tournament is where champions are made. And where I got that? From Ilana Kloss. We were just having a conversation, and it was after the Coco thing. And she said, well, that tournament is where champions are made. And I thought, hey, that's a great slogan. So we attached that to the tournament. So that's our motto, where champions are made.
Deservedly so, as again, you look through the illustrious list of past champions, and it doesn't matter if it's 16s, 18s, singles, doubles, you are going to find some heavy hitters as you look down that list. This is a bit of a tangent, but you are always someone who has been a creative thinker as it relates to this sport and trying to innovate how we can grow the sport to build a broader audience. Obviously, this is a girls 16s, 18s national championship. The boys equivalent, and I emphasize boys, is over in Kalamazoo.
Right.
I have postulated a pet theory of mine. I'm curious your thoughts on this. Do you think a professional version of the American National Championships would work? Do you think that would be an event if you brought in the best men, the best women, let's say once every 4 years, and said, hey, the winners of this, you are our Davis Cup and Fed Cup teams for this next cycle? Is that an event that has any sort of appeal to you? Do you think it would work?
Well, you're touching on a subject that I've believed in for a long time, which is I think there should be some type of financial rewards in the junior tennis because it costs people so much money to play these tournaments. And my thought would have been if we found a sponsor, they could set up a system where all the way from the 12 and unders up to the 18s, you figure out a system where there's some kind of remuneration financially. Let's say you win, maybe you start at the 14s, and let's say you get $10,000 for winning a national championship. Well, that money goes into a fund. It goes into a college fund. They cannot touch it, and is there when they graduate from high school and they've achieved a certain amount of grade level and this and that and everything. They can then let's say they build up a pot over 4 or 5 years in the juniors, and all of a sudden, oh my God, I've got $100,000 in there. That money comes out and goes towards tuition, and goes towards their expenses in college, not tennis expenses, but educational expenses, and they can draw on it. And if you had some system like that, that was a rough sketch of it.
Yeah.
Then you think that a parent says, let's see, my kid will play baseball. Oh, you mean if they play tennis, they could pick up a couple of 100,000 by the time they're 18? They'll put them into tennis. And that would be a big, big move. And I actually, a few years ago, when I had the Easter Bowl, Ray Moore, the CEO of the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, I had an idea. We put up $10,000 in travel grants. We couldn't offer prize money. So we had a travel grant for the top finishers in the Easter Bowl, starting at the round of 8 or 16. So everybody got the same amount. Let's say the Easter Bowl got this round of 16, they got $100. The quarterfinals, they got $400. Semifinals, they weren't playing for money. It's just a round you got $800, $1,500, and they got travel grants on airlines or hotels towards your expenses. But you know what happened? We didn't get enough appreciation for it. I don't know. I still think it could work, but they got to help these parents and these kids and draw these young athletes into tennis and some kind of a system where there was. You're asking me about having a pro situation in the girls' 18s. Figure something out like that. If you win the girls' 18s right now, Eva Jovic last year, she gets into the U.S. Open. And she wins her first round against a girl named Lynette, who's number 48 in the world. And then she lost in the second round, 7-5 in the third, and to the number 28 player, Alexandrova. So she gets $140,000 in prize money. Well, guess what? She couldn't take the money. Well, how ridiculous is that when you got this idiotic NCAAs and the NIL money? You could take NIL money, but you can't have more than $10,000 of prize money in the juniors or as an amateur. So something's crazy there. So you can take some tennis expenses out of it. I don't know where I was going with this comment, but I'm just saying that.
I don't mean to interrupt. I so thoroughly agree. Like the idea that someone can earn prize money and then have that prize money taken away from them, particularly in an era when eligibility questions are so sporadic and non-conform in how they are decided. And it's just like put it away in a trust. Let it sit off or do whatever. I so thoroughly agree.
Well, then if you can't take the prize money, but I could take $100,000 from Domino's Pizza if I go to Indiana or something like that in the NIL money. What is this craziness these guys do? It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
but there should be a system where kids can accumulate something by playing tennis. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But we need somebody to step up to the plate and do it. Get some. Hope somebody listens to this podcast. You got, you have a nice guy. You're in Indianapolis, don't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you? What's that big company there?
We can talk to, I'm blanking on the pharmaceutical company that is right there.
Well, no, it's an insurance company. I think they sponsor the Billie Jean King Cup, I think.
Interesting.
It begins with a G. I can't think of a game.
I'll have to do some exploring, but I so thoroughly agree. And I guess this will be my last two questions because I know you got to go as well. Is the biggest barrier, you think, financially? Like that is the biggest barrier to getting people to invest long-term in a tennis career? It's just all these tournament prize fees, all the travel.
What do you mean? Is it
at the highest levels?
You mean, is it the biggest obstacle for a parent? You mean?
Correct, yes.
Well, it certainly comes into play when these pros are charging $100 an hour, for pros or 100, the fees. If you don't have a real inside track on how to get a good tennis foundation, you got to find somebody you think does. Then you got to filter through all the imposters out there, that throw balls out of a bucket That makes me sick. Every time I see, I'm going to throw up if I see another pro throwing a ball out of a bucket instead of feeding balls. And they stand there and do all these stupid things and charge you $140 and you go nowhere, you know. Anyway, I'm just rambling here, telling you some of my pet peeves because I love junior tennis and I think it's such a great game for a young child to take up. All the other sports are great too, but tennis is a cradle to grave game. It takes you from birth to death. You can play your whole life. And I love basketball, football, baseball, all that, but I just think it's a great thing. And so is golf, by the way. Same thing with golf. But another thing, what I'd love to see, I have a friend who worked up a budget one time that for $1.5 million, you could get every child that gets to the nationals, just the national championships, pay their hotel bill and their transportation, every single one of them. And you could do that today. You could do that for a couple $1 million. What's that? That's nothing. You know, I mean, the USDA's got hundreds of millions of dollars they've got to give away. Just take $2 million and fund the juniors. After all, what's the U.S. Open made of? It's made out of the birth that the junior tournaments give them. You know, so they're really going to do what they can to step up the junior tennis tournaments. And unfortunately, guess what? Money's a big part of it. But you know, when you're out of the country, you know why all these other countries are doing so well? Because the federations pay for it and they help them. Over here, they don't do that. You know, so but we're doing pretty well anyway. But you're talking about money.
I thoroughly agree.
Talking
And by
about
the
money
way,
now,
some
so
scholars have argued that all podcasting is two people going off on tangents. So I have appreciated every thought you have offered to us today, my friend. And this leads me to my final question. It's one of my themes of late, and I apologize because I'm putting on my Barbara Walters mask here and bringing you to 60 Minutes without any preparation for this question. But talking about growing the game, and I think this is a fun place for us to end. If there was one thing you would like to see the media do more of, and one thing you would like to see players do more of to continue to grow our game, what might those things be?
well, I'll give you one example because we did it at the Girls Nationals. We're the only junior tournament to ever do it. We've been on television, and television gives birth to a lot of kids. They see their heroes playing baseball and football, and they're 8, 9 years old. Turn on the TV and watch a Super Bowl. So tennis, if you get a little tennis exposure, but you guys are doing it. You're good for the game because you're spreading the gospel. You're like Johnny Appleseed out there planting apple seeds of tennis everywhere. And how do you know about it if you don't hear about it or see it? So that's the media's role. If you can just get the word out there, and the sections need to concentrate on that. You know, people get too hung up on worrying about, well, I don't want to spend $2.50 for a T-shirt. Let's save it. Let's cut expenses. You got to think the other way. Don't cut expenses. Raise more money so you can do more. So anyway, I don't know if I quite answered your question. But
No, absolutely did. I agree. I think again, it's word of mouth. It's just growing the exposure, not thinking that anything is too beneath this sport. Like I so thoroughly agree. It's just, especially if I was, I mean, I'm no longer, but it's like when I was 12 years old, I would have watched every Kalamazoo had that option been available to me because you're seeing what you're striving towards. And yeah, it's why, again, we are so grateful here at Cracked Rackets to have the opportunity to broadcast an event like this because these are the best juniors in the country, and they are all competing for an opportunity to play in New York. And it also matters that much more to them. Like being a 16-year-old on a live stream is something, to your point, like this event more broadly, that they just never forget. So certainly, Lornie, I appreciate you taking the time to have us this year. I appreciate you taking the time to chat today.
okay.
Again, full tournament. It's open to the public the entire time, right? People got to come by Barnes.
Yeah, sure. And if they come to the finals in 8th and 9th, they get to see Billie Jean King. She talks. I mean, my God, it's fantastic. I mean, especially this is a women's tournament, and you've got Billie Jean. We don't have a Billie Jean of the men, do we? Who would that be? Well, Arthur Ashe would have been it, but he's not, unfortunately, not with us anymore. Yeah. But I don't know who the
I feel like if Pete Sampras showed up to Kalamazoo, it would be a pretty big deal. I feel like Pete stays in the background, so it would be a big deal.
Well, the guy's a hermit; he never shows up. So, what can you say about? I mean, I love the guy, but I mean, everybody's got their own little thing, you know. No. Some people are more outgoing. McEnroe keeps the game alive, and I'll tell you who's just a fantastic person is Andre Agassi, and he just is a giver, and he's the most philanthropic. He helps support our tournament. How do you like that?
That's awesome.
That shows you what a fantastic person he is. and the Bryan brothers do too. So we've got people like that helping support our tournament. And anyway, there's givers out there, and it goes a long way if you give. Makes you feel good if you give. You know.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
And it's why, again, we here at Cracked Rackets are so grateful to be a part of this event. Always grateful to have the chance to chat with you as well. Again, the USTA girls, Billie Jean King girls 16s, 18s, national championships coming up about a week and a half at the Barnes Tennis Center. We will have coverage each and every day on our Cracked Rackets YouTube channel.
okay,
And the only reason we have that opportunity is because of you, my friend Lornie. So thank you, as always, for taking the time to chat. And
okay,
thank you for including our team. Always good to see you, my friend.
okay. Keep spreading the word.